right, hello, and happy Sunday. It has been such a good day, honestly. I slept in. I did not charge my phone. I let everything die and I just slept and it was great. And then I woke up and I just went and did everything that I needed to do. I've had a nice evening of just kind of cleaning up and getting my space to an acceptable level. I have a lot going on. I'm getting rid of this massive thing to my left, and I'm just trying to make my space friendlier for myself because I'm trying to like sew and lay out patterns on an ironing board, and it's not great. And I got these little desks that aren't great for space. They have terrible storage, so a lot of change happening around me in my home, which for me it is good, is really good. But it's also a little bit stressful. Like when my space is kind of a mess, I'm like, ah. So no, the boys are set. They're good. So I'm just trying to get my own workspace together because I have like my day job workspace is out there, and I figure my craft space is back here. So I'm just arranging things and trying to. Oh my God, like Facebook Marketplace, it's hard to get a hold of people and get like things arranged for trying to give you my money. It's crazy. I'm I'm like chasing people down like, "Hey, can I really want to buy this. Can I come pick it up today? Like, can I like it's so weird." And they're just like, "No." Anyways, but yeah, so hopefully I'll have I might be getting rid of this desk as well. We'll see, but I like it a lot, but it's more of an aesthetic that I like. It's very mid-century modern. It's actually more mid-century. It's not very modern, but it's also small. So, well, I might just maybe this is my vanity, and I'll get a better desk for sewing. And I need space to lay out my patterns on. I'm using these little fold-down tables, and it's not cutting it. But yeah, so it's been a terrific freaking day. I'm stoked to continue working on the flails. So we'll be making our chain loops. So super stoked for that. Just plugging away. We got our handle, and that'll be nice. And then we'll do handle, chain. We'll make a stop that. My lip glasses are rocking. Handle, the chain. We'll put a topper on the handle as well. And then we will do our flail and spikes and keep working at this. And I do have us queued up for some Sister Wives. I have been watching so many clips, and I'm devastated that we're going to be losing TikTok. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself without it. Maybe read books or learn a language. I'm sure as shit not going to be on Facebook, Instagram, or anything else. They're absolute garbage. So I'll have that opened up for a whole new set of hobbies now that I'm no longer scrolling. But yeah, I've been getting a ton of Sister Wife stuff for like the longest time. I've always had a bit of a curiosity there. And I've seen bits of the show and things like that, and I think it's so fun when people do like when they do like their parodies and whatnot. But yeah, I'm really excited for this video. I felt it was a decent length. I haven't seen it or anything, but it appears to be a bit of a summary. Raverly. I don't really scroll or hang out on sites like that. I interact a lot with various TikTokers and stuff. I don't see Raverly being somewhere that I go for that. That's probably where I'll go for some patterns occasionally, but yeah, I don't know. So, but yeah, and I've looked around. I have gone through and I've like followed some of my favorite creators on like Instagram and whatnot, so I can still see some of their stuff. But it's not the same. And I noticed that like Instagram, the algorithm that they use, like I don't really see any of their posts, and I've yet to use Reels. Facebook is the worst, so I don't even, my Facebook is kind of dead. I only got one for Facebook Marketplace. Beyond that, it's completely empty, and then Facebook will actually deactivate your account if you don't add like a certain number of people. So I have my family members on there. I have no interest in using it. I will never, nor have I posted on there for like updates, or I don't even know. I guess I could go on there and like spam misinformation and AI bullshit, that old people would like spam around as well. It's mostly my mother and her friends talking about things that aren't real, where it's like, if you don't do this, then the government will access all of your information by 9 p.m. tomorrow. It's just so fucking stupid. Oh my god. Facebook used to be a place, you know, like it used to be something, and now it is nothing. It is incredible to me how far it's fallen. I love that for them. Fuck Mark Zuckerberg. Anyways, this is annoying me. There we go. All right, so let's get into it. Coffee and cults. We'll see.
Think
I don't
of
know
the most
about
successful reality TV shows, you probably think of the glamorous and loud shows like the Housewives franchise or the Kardashians. However, one of the
No,
highest rated
actually,
reality shows right now
I've
is
never watched
actually a
the
show
Kardashians.
that's
I have
very
no interest in those
unglamorous, and yet
people.
it just clocked in its 18th season with record high ratings.
Unless like
Sister Wives
they were
is
featured
not
on
only one of the
hoarders,
biggest
where it's like,
reality
why do you
TV
feel the
shows right
need
now, but it's also
to
one of the
hoard
most
wealth
talked about
in a
shows,
house
with a
this
huge
big?
following across
That's
social
what that
media,
should be a
highly
new
engaged
version of
audience,
hoarders.
and dozens of YouTube
You know, we can just
videos,
interview
podcasts,
Jeff
and social
Bezos and
media
Bill
posts
Gates
dedicated to
and Warren
discussing the
Buffett and
happenings
ask
with the show
them
and the family
if
at
they
the
think it's
center of the
normal to
show,
have
the
hoarded so much
Browns.
wealth and
One of the most
resources
fascinating aspects
within
of Sister Wives
society.
today is how the show has changed from its original premise, which was a show about a family that hoped to show people
Yeah, it
that
was
not
about
all
like
polygamists were
normalizing
predatory and that they were
polygamy.
just a normal family like yours. While the show seemed to achieve this in the beginning, over the years, Sister Wives has changed extensively. The family
What the fuck?
has fallen apart.
Okay.
Several of
We
the cast
cool? We
members have
good?
become almost
We good, you
universally
two?
despised,
What
and
the
many of the
heck?
Sister Wives are taking advantage of their
What the
public
heck? I'm
platform
so
by using
afraid.
their audience to become high-ranking sellers across several predatory MLMs. On top of belonging to these predatory MLMs that exploit their audiences, there's also been a lot of worrying behavior from the Sister Wives cast. In the beginning of the show, the family was presented as outside the norm, but generally a happy family that loved each other. Fast forward to today,
I keep giving my
and not
yarn
only
away,
have things drastically
actually.
changed, but
I've
all
like,
of
I
Cody's
gave my
3
mom a few
original wives
skeins,
and the vast
and I've
majority of his
given
18
some
children have
friends
left
some as
him and
well.
don't have
I'm
any
like
relationship
overwhelmed
with him, and the
actually,
original
because
wives are
I
not shy
have
about
fabric and
speaking
stuff
out about
that I
how
need to
bad
find
their
storage
marriage and lives
for.
really were
So that's what
when
I'm
they were
looking for.
married
I'm
to
trying to
Cody.
like
Cody
redo my
himself
space
has
to add
also
storage,
transformed over the
because
years
I've
and
fucked
gone
up. I
down
got
a
too much
dark
stuff right now
path.
and it
In the
stresses
earlier
me.
seasons, Cody was a happy-go-lucky
I used to
man
move
who
like
seemed to
every
love his
year
wives
to
and
different
children,
states and
but
stuff,
now
so
he
having a lot of
appears
stuff
as a
like stresses
miserable
me
man,
out.
unable to see he is the architect of his own downfall. So today we're going to be discussing the Brown family, their involvement in
Cody is
multiple predatory
crazy. I do
MLMs,
know
the cult
that.
of polygamy, how this
I
lifestyle has
don't know
affected
anything
the
about the
Brown children,
MLMs.
and what has caused the absolute destruction of 3 of Cody Brown's 4 marriages
Robin
and
and
the
Cody.
implosion of the Brown family.
That's what's happened to their
We'll also
marriages.
be checking in with some of my favorite Sister Wives content creators to
Ooh.
answer the important questions and get their opinion on how Cody Brown shattered and destroyed his own happy family.
Oh, you've kind of given away the lead here.
And let's dive into the fascinating world of polygamists Cody, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robin Brown.
Are you gonna actually get into it? Your intro kind of gave away anything that you could have like gotten into, so that's cool.
So before we get into talking about the show Sister Wives and many of the problematic issues raised by the show, I want to
And then
give
it
a
gets
very
like,
brief
oh,
background
you know
just so
what?
you know who the Brown family is. There
That's
are
why.
timestamps in the description if you want
That's
to skip
why.
over any of this introduction though. When the show Sister Wives started, the Brown family were a family of 16, soon to be 17.
The other
Cody
mic was
Brown
trying to
was
pick it up.
married to 3 different women: Mary Brown, Janelle Brown, and
And it
Christine
was
Brown.
ungodly
All 3
loud. Yeah.
marriages happened before any of their children were born, and between the 3 wives, there were 12 children, and Christine was pregnant with her 6th and final child. It is a wildly different experience watching the show then in the first season versus now, because when the earlier seasons were on, they were still keeping up this charade of, oh, we're a happy family and polygamy is great.
So let's go ahead and go home and
The charade.
they're special.
Where's this person from?
And I'm excited about introducing you to them. 20 years ago, I married Mary, and then 17 years ago, I married Janelle, and then 16 years ago, I married Christine.
There we go.
Now it is a very different story, and that's a lot of what we're going to be discussing today.
The sacrifices that I made to love you, wasted.
I follow a parody account that basically goes to the middle of the woods and yells, "Wasted!"
What caused Cody to become a very different person?
Oh my goodness.
What caused
That's
the
too
collapse
funny.
of so
They nailed
many
it. They nailed it.
relationships within
That
this
parody's
family,
spot on.
particularly the collapse of 3 of the 4 marriages and the destruction
so
of
far
nearly
away. I gotta
all
fix
of
this.
Cody Brown's relationships with his children from the 3 original wives. Because the 2 things that have changed for the Brown family immensely happened at the exact same time. And that was Robin Brown joining the family as the 4th and final wife. And the other thing was the Browns becoming public about their lifestyle and debuting on television with their show Sister Wives. So that's kind of the loose thesis and the lens in which we'll be looking at this family and the show through for this video. As I said in the beginning, this is one of the many things that I want to explore and discuss in this video. What destroyed this family? Was it going public, getting a TV show, fame, money, notoriety? Or was it the addition of a 4th wife? A wife who specifically was Robin Brown. Was it Robin, her personality, her behavior, her manipulation that destroyed this family and caused the 3 original wives to divorce Cody? Or was it in fact
I kind of think it was, based on what I
brought down
have seen
the
of Robin.
family that he is at the very
There's
center of?
her and Cody.
The Browns were practicing polygamists, and
because like Robin didn't want to be like monogamous, but she wanted to be the favorite wife. So she's very much like a yes man to Cody.
And those wives refer to one another as sister wives, hence the title of the show. As I said before, the show focuses around Cody Brown and his family.
I don't think I could do it. I have a friend who's like into the ethically non-monogamous shit, and I'm just like, to each their own, but I'm not down with that. I would not be cool with my partner going on dates and getting with other peeps.
Step siblings because Janelle's mother married Cody's father. So when Cody married Janelle,
but it's a certain kind of village.
He also married his stepsister. Cody and his 3rd wife Christine are also distant cousins.
Whoa!
Didn't
children, know that.
15 of the children are biologically
That's a
Cody's,
bit
and the other 3 children are Robin's children
interesting.
from their first marriage that Cody ended up
bad.
adopting. And in order to adopt the children, he had to, on paper, divorce his first wife, Mary, and marry his 4th wife, Robin, who nearly every Sister Wives viewer and Brown family member agree is Cody's favorite wife. We'll discuss everything to do with the adoption later, as there was
I just watered
lot
today.
going on with it. It wasn't just straightforward paperwork. There was also a catfish scandal wrapped up in it.
It's been water all day.
Some very interesting
It's been nice,
pictures, one involving a banana, and we'll get into that more later in the video. Just
How about you? You got
anything?
anything?
On the wives and the children. Mary Brown, Cody's first wife, she grew up in polygamy, and she has 1 child with Cody, Leon Brown. Janelle, Cody's second wife, She grew up in the mainstream Mormon church, but around the time that Janelle converted to polygamy, as I mentioned before, Janelle's mom also converted and married Cody's dad.
My dad had been marrying Cheryl
Interesting.
before I married Janelle. So it's weird that
His
Cheryl's both my
dad
dad's
married
wife,
his
my mom's sister
mother-in-law?
wife, and my mother-in-law.
Janelle and Cody have 6 children together.
I'd be kind of
Logan is
pissed.
the oldest of all the
I'd
children
be like,
and was
Dad, what the
very
fuck?
much parentified. That was shown time and time again on the show.
Oh
And
yeah,
she has her oldest daughter,
parentification, that's
Maddie, and her
shitty.
Garrison Gabriel, and her youngest daughter, Savannah. Cody's third wife, Christine, grew up in polygamy, and a lot of
Parentification
people
is
talk
deeply
about
uncool.
her family being polygamy royalty. She said she always wanted to be a third wife because she thought by the time she would join a family as a third wife that the first and second wife would have figured out the relationships and it would be an easy thing to slot in. We'll talk more about the dynamics between the wives
Interesting.
later. Christine also has 6 children. When the show started,
Never
she
imagined
was
like a little girl
pregnant,
being
so
like, I
her
can't wait to be a
6th
third
child
wife
was actually
someday.
born during the first season of the show, and that's shown on TV. Her children are Aspen, McKelsey, Hayden, Gwen, Isabel, and Truly. All 3 of the wives and all the children all lived together in one household when the show started. They lived in Lehi, Utah, and they were raising the children all together, with Janelle
Wow.
and Cody being the main breadwinners and doing the majority of the work, with Mary and Christine also having part-time jobs, and Christine did the majority of the child raising. She also homeschooled a lot of the kids, and one thing that is very well represented on the show is the relationship that all of the kids, except Robin's kids, have a very close relationship with Christine.
I do kind of like that. Like, I don't really have cousins and stuff, so I think that would be like really cool to have a close relationship with all of those siblings.
When the show was starting, Cody had just started courting a 4th wife, Robin Brown. Robin was 10 years younger than any of the other wives, and she was also
The
a
kids of
divorcee.
people around
She
the
had 3
kids?
children herself, and she had also
Oh.
been raised in polygamy. Her stepfather was a polygamist, but Robin's
Yeah, that's
first
good
wife
too.
was a monogamous marriage.
It's important
When
to
the
have
show
good people
started,
around to look up
people
to.
were fascinated with this family. People couldn't believe that Cody was out on a date with his, at the time, girlfriend that he was courting, Robin Brown, and then he would leave that date to go to the hospital and see Christine giving birth to his 13th child. The first season ended.
He
with
went on a
Cody and Robin's
date when
wedding,
his
which
wife
of
was in
course
labor?
was a big
What the
fancy
fuck?
TLC televised wedding, and it's easy to see the huge contrast between Robin's wedding and the 3 other weddings, which were extremely basic and tiny. When you look back on this first season, it's hard to recognize anyone on the show, but especially Cody. In the first season, you see a devoted father and husband, an all-around guy that seems happy-go-lucky, and to see the positivity in life. Although Cody never was a very popular member of the show, fans during the first season didn't despise him the same
No,
way
absolutely.
they do today.
And that's my
The
issue,
first
like,
episode ends
with some
with
people
an
where it's like, well,
absolutely
family, you know? It's like, no.
fascinating
Like, just because they're
talking head
family
from
doesn't
Christine. If
mean
you take into
that they're
account
okay to be
everything
around.
that we know now,
No,
with
that's super
hindsight,
valid.
with knowing 13 years of what would happen from this point, I want to show you the clip because it just explains the next 13 years, basically.
A little hesitant to
crazy.
accept another wife. If it happens, that she just has to be absolutely amazing. Otherwise, it might be a little difficult.
After the first season, it was announced that the Browns were being looked into as polygamists by the authorities. So in the second season,
Blood
we
is
see
thicker than
them
blood.
dramatically pack up and move with only a few days' notice to Las Vegas. And this was dramatized a lot for television, and they did make it seem as though Cody was going to be arrested at any moment.
Monday night, we got word that the police department is due to end the investigation into the family. See, we are charged with bigamy.
TLC does know how to edit
that a lot
for
of time has
drama.
gone by, family, it seems to be pretty obvious that this was just done
Yeah.
for dramatic TLC reasons. And also, they claim that they just picked
I hope
Las
the
Vegas
kids knew
because
that.
it was a polygamy
Otherwise, the
safe
kids were
haven.
probably
But
stressed.
now a lot of
Like,
people that watch the
oh
show
my
believe
goodness.
that Las Vegas was particularly chosen because Robin's stepfather, that she was very close to and sees as her father, lived in Las Vegas. And there was another move for seemingly no reason whatsoever when the Browns moved from Las Vegas to Arizona, and that also coincided with Robin's eldest son going to university in Arizona. So a lot of people
So
think
it's
that the reason
all
they
of these
moved
people are
to
moving
Arizona
just for
was
Robin's
also for a member
convenience.
of Robin's family.
That's
If you're not familiar
insane.
with the Browns,
That
it
is
may
selfish.
seem preposterous to move this enormous family for one wife's relationship with a family member, but by the end of this video, I think that you'll see that a lot of things are done to appease Robin, who again, most viewers believe and most members of the family believe is
Yikes.
Cody's favorite wife.
And that's so shitty, too. To do all of that for one and not any of the
So
others.
before we
That's
get into talking about the
that's
major
cold.
problematic things, which is why I wanted to do this video in the first place, about things like the healthcare neglect when it comes to the kids, the predatory MLMs, and just how polygamy in general
As she
is
does. It's a
something
cute
that
little
just
cat.
really hurts women and children. I want to give you a bit of background on the relationships between all of the wives and Cody and some of the kids, just so you know the dynamics between everyone and how this family is just so complicated because there's so many people in it and so many interesting personalities, let's say. As I said before, the first three wives married into the family before they had any of the kids, and Robin then joined the family 16 years later. So Mary,
That's a
Christine,
huge
and Janelle,
gap,
even though
too.
they had issues between one another, they raised all of their children together. And
I bet the
then
other three
Robin
wives thought
entered
that,
the
like, they would
family
be
with
the only
3
wives
of
at that
her own
point. Like, it's
children
been
from
so
her previous
long.
marriage, and then went on to have 2 children with Cody. The only 2 sister wives that really get on and really seem to have got together as sister wives and really just supported one another and helped each other in this kind of dynamic that is polygamy is Janelle and Christine. And even now, I know a lot of the fans just really love how, even though they're both divorced from Cody, how they both still have this really close relationship.
I do
and
like
even
that.
still
I have
spend
seen their
time at the
interviews
holidays
together.
still go away together, and just basically seem to live their lives now as sort of best friends, and they do still refer to each other as sister wives even though they're not married to Cody anymore.
Aww, that's
And
really
when
sweet.
Christine was divorcing Cody, she was the first wife who left. Cody kept saying to her, you know, you were this terrible sister wife, and that's why I didn't find you attractive anymore. And just
Cody's
really
such a
hurtful
dick.
things that he blamed on Christine not being a good sister wife.
You never tried to have a really good relationship with these other people. And that's the reason I'm pissed off. That's just vomiting out of me.
In reality, Christine and Janelle were the only ones being good sister wives to one another.
There's a bond that happened when we raised our kids together. I think so. And we chose to do things together because we were a family and because we had these kids together. But now we're choosing to do something with each other because we like it.
And the fact that Cody was saying that, it was just because Christine and Robin didn't get along, and as anyone in the Brown family and anyone who watches the show will tell you, majority of people who watch the show will tell you, is that Robin is Cody's favorite wife, or the wife who has found favor with Cody, as he likes to put it. So Robin has kind of shifted a lot of things when she enters the family, because Mary is the one who basically went out and found Robin and started the courting process, because in the beginning Cody said that he wasn't even really interested in Robin because she was a divorcee. So Mary and Robin have always had what they would probably say is a good relationship, but over the last 10 years it really doesn't seem as if they have any relationship outside of the show and Mary's money. Because several years ago there was a catfishing situation where Mary started talking to someone online that she
Oh my
believed to be a
goodness.
man. It
Get
was
it
actually
together.
a woman who was catfishing her, and Mary and Cody hadn't been really living as a
Jeez, that took forever. Just incredibly unresponsive. Oh my god. Come on, champ. You can do it. No, you can't do it. You're gonna crash. Oh my god. Oh my god. Come on. Jesus Christ. It's working hard. It is working hard. There we go. Come on. Come on, you can load. I believe in you. Why the fuck is my internet so expensive if this is like, what? What? Oh my god. Oh, thank you for loading the ad on the side here. And load. And play. I hate you so much.
With a woman? I married her! How dare they blame Robin? It's not my fault that I don't love you! Pit my kids against me! All because I love you! Roll it, big deal, Cody.
Anyways, it's like my favorite channel that I've been finding. Their parodies are just dead on. Back to this sad story, anyways. No, maybe not. Just crash already. If you're gonna act like this,
a married couple for
I'll
a
give you
number of
something to
years,
fucking
and when
freeze
this
over.
catfishing
I should drop.
situation happened, it really seemed as though
Oh,
if
I'm gonna
this
drop you
person
later.
was a man and was the real person that Mary thought she was
Unbelievable.
talking to, that Mary would have left the family, and she ended up obviously finding out that
I'm
it
gonna
wasn't
throw
a
this
man,
computer. No, I
and
can't.
she stayed. But
Computers aren't cheap.
that, I mean, her and
Shit.
didn't have like a better relationship really
Dumb.
for the past
God
couple
forbid
of
I try
years,
and do like
but
anything.
after that situation, they just had no relationship. Cody wouldn't stay at her house, they didn't do anything together, and it was only really when Robin invited Mary over or to see the kids that Mary would really be there. And Cody, even on national television, said he doesn't really consider himself
Probably.
married to
He
Mary.
actually insists on laying on my laptop. And he'll push like crazy keys, lock stuff, open stuff. It's ridiculous.
And even though
I gotta do a hard reset every time.
of them not having a relationship, Mary still stayed with Robin.
That's
very
okay,
much
though.
telling her, please stay, please stay. And
I had a better
Mary, which
laptop,
we'll get
but like a
into this
single
lot
part
more
went
in a
bad,
later chapter,
and they were
is very
basically, they're like, you
successful
might
in
as well
the
just get a different
MLM
one.
row.
Replacing it's
So
gonna
she's
be
been making
just
a lot
so,
of money
not even
from
cost
that
effective.
MLM,
And it was just so dumb. I'm like, really?
Problems, which we'll
It's
talk
not
about
even
in the next
repairable?
chapter.
Crazy.
So Robin and Cody, Robin has never worked. Cody doesn't seem to be working right now. He was working with guns before.
That's one thing that makes me mad about Cody is that he let these other wives work and fully support
day before
all the other
that I'm
families,
recording
and
this,
then him and
even Christine
Robin.
said, I don't know what he does.
Just
I think he's not working
so
right now.
lazy.
So they are only getting income from the show, and Robin lives in this mansion that was funded by the family fund that at the time Janelle, Christine, and Mary were paying into. And Janelle even gave Robin the proceeds from the sale of her home in Vegas to buy this almost $2 million home that Robin and Cody now live in.
I know, it's the downside.
Money, as I said, next chapter we'll get into that more. But that has
hopefully
also
I'll eventually get a PC.
Issues with
we'll
stuff
see.
like healthcare. Again, that's in the following chapter after the money. So I'm not glossing over that. I just wanted to let you know it's coming up. But just to get back to the dynamic between the wives again, it just really seems that, especially over the last several years,
that's the nice part about when I had
one of the sister wives didn't have a good relationship with Robin, then that's what Cody used as ammunition to just be not having a relationship.
I don't think
with
Robin
them,
really
not
tried to have a good relationship with them
and just
either.
Not really being husband and wife. And he would kind of make excuses for why he would spend the majority of his time at Robin's. And Christine and Janelle have said now that they're divorced from him. In the beginning, he was really good about splitting his time, but for the last several years, even when they were all
and it all like COVID
him,
made all of it really bad. I remember that.
Robin's. There was even a couple of days when they lived in Las Vegas where a group of anthropology students spent 3 days living with them, and even the anthropology students who were there for 3 days said, I really think that you favor Robin's children. And just to go into the kids a little bit too, they, for the most part, all have a terrible relationship with Cody.
That's so
with,
sad.
Again, the exception of Robin's kids, because Cody's spending all this time with them. So, of course, it's going to create, issues with the kids and favoritism.
Well, yeah, it's not the kids' responsibility to manage that relationship. It's Cody's.
The other kids can see it. And for the most part, Cody uses this excuse that he's at Robin's because she has the 2 younger kids, so they need more of his time. But
Robin has a nanny as well. Robin had like nannies and shit, and none of the other ladies did.
Youngest child is only like a year and a bit younger than Christine's youngest child. Over the past 3 or 4 years, basically since COVID, Cody and Robin came up with these really, really archaic rules for COVID, and the rest of the family had trouble accepting these rules because the rest of the family was following the CDC guidelines, but Cody and Robin were going completely overboard. And it's fine if you're not working and you're just living in a McMansion, but Janelle, Christine, and their kids, they were going out to work. A lot of Janelle's kids are also involved in the armed forces, so they were going out, and yes, they also had relationships, like their girlfriends and boyfriends that they were going out and seeing, but they were still being safe, and again, they were following the CDC guidelines, but it just wasn't enough for Robin and Cody, and again, they used
Which I'd love to know why, like,
they were
especially this time of the year, like, I wear my mask when I'm out.
So what ended up happening is there was a massive rift,
like, we all, followed the CDC guidelines during COVID, but why would they need to make such crazy additional rules?
And the majority of Janelle and Christine's kids and Mary's kid don't
seems so weird.
To Cody and Robin,
it just seems like an excuse or of a way to like finish closing the door.
Sort of relationship with them, because even people like Logan, who's the oldest of the family, he has a wife now and lives his own life with the pretty successful business from what I can tell, and he just seems to have very minimal contact with Cody. The only child outside of Robin's kids who does have a relationship with Cody and Robin is Mackenzie, and whenever Robin was entering the family, she was living separately, and all the other wives and kids were living in one big polygamous house, and they actually moved Mackenzie, who was a young teenager at the time, in to live with Robin and be her kind of live-in nanny. So there's a lot of parentification in this family with, again, Logan, the oldest child, really picking up a lot
I know.
of what
Just
was
ridiculous.
dropped by the parents, because there's 18 children, of course.
Yeah, but if
you're not
Robin
gonna be able to
isn't
keep up
working,
with
why
all
would she
of
need to
their needs,
parentify a
be it
child? She's the
resources
parent.
or be
And
it
if
time,
and if
attention, and love. And a lot
what's
of
his
the
face
older
is
daughters
there.
were also parentified as well,
Like,
with even Christine talking about her oldest daughter Aspen when she was 10, 11 years old, tucking in the rest of her siblings
yeah.
because Cody said he couldn't go over and tuck her kids in, and they were in the same house. Like, he couldn't just
That's
walk
so
to the other side of the
shitty.
house and tuck her
It's just a
children
shame
in,
when
but
any of
now
that's
he
put on the
spends
child.
24/7 at Robin's. You can understand why these wives really started to resent Robin.
Yeah, and the
Cody,
kids.
because again, it's him
The
doing
kids
these
see and hear
actions,
that.
him behaving this way. So it's
He's
no
making a
wonder
choice.
that this all happened. And again, this dynamic,
And
with all
that's
these
something that
people,
happens in, like,
and it is
even
recorded and
non-polygamy
televised,
families
where
where,
they can watch each other,
saying all
there's
a divorce, right? And then one of the parents goes and starts a new family, and then you never see them because they're with their new family. And the other children are essentially cast aside. It's shitty. They decide, well, I got my family now here. I don't need you anymore. I don't want to play with you anymore. Like, it's so weird.
Time just overall is very minimal with him, and then you see your sibling being picked up, dropped off every day to school, constantly with them, day in, day out. That's tough.
Yeah, family with lots of kids, yeah.
A lot of the older kids are very much like, we don't really...
I mean, I moved out right after I turned 18 because I was parentified, and then they told me they were pregnant again. I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I'm not doing it again. I'm not raising another kid. Fuck no.
You know what, Robin? Have him. Because we don't care anymore.
Yeah.
We're all grown adults.
I think that's good when you can look at the person and be like, you know what? I don't need you in my life. I don't think those kids are missing out on anything with not having Cody in their lives.
Kind of create a lot of issues with them too, because Robin's friend actually knew the catfish, and Robin got involved in all of that too. And then whenever the catfish situation
how did Robin's friend
Mary actually,
know
to the show,
the catfish?
Came up with this idea of her own accord to divorce Cody, because she was the only one who was legally married to him, and get divorced so that Robin could marry Cody and Cody could legally adopt Robin's 3 children from her previous marriage.
Why did he need to legally adopt the children?
Do not buy that was Mary's idea, and Robin and Cody.
Why did he need to legally adopt them though? That's weird. You don't have to.
It's not going to be anything.
They can just be your stepkids.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, it was the anniversary of that paperwork shuffle, yet apparently they were out.
Oh, that's a shitty thing to say.
Celebrating their anniversary.
That's a very shitty thing of your mother to have said.
Will say they don't think it was just
So are you the youngest?
Shuffle, and they don't think that it was just orchestrated by Mary, that there was other things happening behind the scenes between Cody and Robin. Also, just to go back even further, when Robin was joining the family,
you're the middle. Oh my gosh.
Robin's kids just
what a terrible thing to say when you have children.
And already had, at this stage,
and not only that, but damn, give them a chance.
A lot of the older kids who were teenagers
oh my god,
who had grown up with a lot of.
I'm sorry that was said to you. That's really shitty.
Even spoken about food insecurity, because some of Christine's kids now do Patreon and YouTube, and they react to the show and talk about it. And during the first season, they had just got this show, so they were just starting to get the big paychecks from the show, They weren't sure it was going to go away tomorrow. And
at that
the
point,
older
that's
kids were uncomfortable with,
that's a
you know,
problem
a new wife
with
coming
your
in,
mother.
new kids coming in, and
Like,
knowing
that
not
sounds
only
like
the
something
resources
else.
and money was going to be diluted even further,
'Cause
with
ain't no
more and more
fucking
people
way.
joining. They knew that their dad's attention and everything was going to be diluted as well. So the older kids, while it wasn't presented like this on the show, they were basically just told, sit down, shut up, this is happening.
Yeah, I
you
asked my
better
parents, I was like,
accept it,
who did you
basically.
want me to
Whereas
be?
on the show,
What did
they
you want me to be?
portrayed
And all
it
they
as,
came back
you know,
with was
the
like a
adult
mother.
kids being super
And I was
happy
just
that
like,
this was happening, and
get
they couldn't
fucked.
wait to
Like,
bring in another wife
that's
and
so
kids.
shitty
So a lot of the beginning
for
of
that
the
to be the
show,
only option that
you'll
you
even
see
be
for
able
your
to see
daughter
under
for
this
their
video
life
that in
is being a
the
mother.
first
Like, nothing wrong with
even
being a mother.
14
It's not for
seasons,
me.
they
It's not for my
very
other
much
sister either. We don't want
portrayed this
kids.
one big happy
But
polygamy
for the fact that
family,
that's
and
all that they
we're
had
not
intended
like,
for
you know,
us.
those
No,
other polygamists
no anything
who
else.
that
Literally
sort of dynamic hurts
began and
women
ended
hurts
there.
children. This is
Like, it
a
just seems
great
so
thing, and
shitty.
we're just like everyone else, but in reality,
And such
that
a
was
such a
very far from the
pigeonhole
truth.
too.
And
Like,
now
cool, that's
Christine,
all we were
Janelle,
for.
especially, they're speaking
You know,
out
my mom's
and
like, well,
saying
I wanted
how
to be a
it never
grandmother. And I
was
was like, oh,
happy
okay, so it is
families,
still
and
all
that there
about
always
you.
were these
Like, that's cool.
issues
My
and
life is for
dynamics,
you.
and just Cody was really unfair with his time once Robin entered the scene.
Yeah, basically.
And the very important thing
She's
with
gotten better.
polygamy
She's kind of
is
getting
that
over it.
people might look at
But
the Browns in the earlier
it's just
seasons
wild.
and think, oh, this is no different than my marriage or my neighbor's marriage, and they just
Are we
do
there
things
yet on this
differently.
loop?
But in reality,
No.
it really can
No.
set women and children up to
Taking
be
forever.
in these terrible situations, because the women are not legally married to the husband. So the husband, they have all these children, and they have no obligation whatsoever. Christine, for example, who grew up
All
in
of
the
this
polygamous
just
lifestyle,
favors
she was
the
very
man.
scared of the authorities and was always told, you know, you can't tell anyone about your family because they could arrest your dad and he could go to jail. So Christine didn't put Cody on her kids' birth certificates. And I do think it's interesting
Oh,
now
that's
that
fucked
the
up.
majority of them that have
They're not even
left
listed on the birth
polygamy
certificate?
are saying how they would not go back to being a polygamist. You know, Christine has actually got remarried and is living a monogamous marriage.
She
Janelle is
did?
the exception. She said she would try
Congrats
polygamy
to
again,
Christine.
but I
Oh
think
my
for the
gosh.
most
And she
part,
looks
the Browns
beautiful.
now are actually showing
Oh my
why
God.
polygamy isn't a good concept and how it
It
can be
benefits
harmful
men.
to
It
everyone
benefits
involved,
the
because
man.
in
And
the
that's
beginning,
what it
the
was
whole
made for.
concept of
It was
their
made to
show
benefit the
was,
man.
we want to show
Not the
that
women.
we're just like you know, we're not some scary war and jest thing. And through the show, they have actually proven a lot of the points that people went into
So
the
many
show
things.
with.
I
A
know a
lot of
lady
people would
who's
straight away be
she's
like,
very
oh, I'm sure
devout
the
in her
favorite wife,
beliefs,
and I'm sure
and
favorite
she's
kids,
very
and
unhappy in her
resources and
marriage.
time aren't evenly distributed.
But she keeps
And
going
that's
back to
exactly
her
what the show's
beliefs, and I'm
proven
like, do you
after all
really
these
think
years, because
all
in
of
the
these men
beginning
really
was all
follow that? Like, they
lies and
if they were
bullshit,
unhappily
and
married,
now
they
they're
would leave
finally
tomorrow.
showing the truth,
And
which
she
is
just
these
she
people
can't do it,
have
and I'm
such a
just
bad relationship, they can't even stand
it's
to be in
to
the same
benefit
room
them.
together.
It's not to the benefit of her or the women.
No. Tell
It's
the
just
whole
so
world.
shitty.
Tell the world.
Tell the
And then
whole
go hang
world.
out with your buddy Christine while you were deciding what you were doing without consulting me.
You know what? Let me tell you what. No. You stay
I'm
and
done
talk.
listening to you.
You stay and talk.
No, I'm not going to, because you're not listening to.
Okay, so we're done.
Goodbye.
You.
Shut it off.
The fact that he behaves like that on camera, knowing he's on camera. That means he's worse behind closed doors.
To love you. Wasted.
Which is
Where
another
is Stan?
interesting thing, because where does the show go from here? They can't even be in the same room together, never mind having a relationship with one another. So let's get into
Yikes.
discussing the problematic and the main pain
Who
points
knows?
that people have with not only
Who
the Browns,
knows?
but their success and their
I mean,
show.
that does not seem like a man that likes women. Yeah, you know what? Most mama boys do kind of hate their mothers too. They hate women. They're like, well, my mom struggled, so you should too.
their kids.
My mom worked full-time and did all the housework. Why can't you?
Irresponsible people when it comes to
Oh my
finances.
goodness.
I think Cody can pretty much be
The
summed
worst.
up in the very first episode of Sister Wives.
Yeah, a man
This
with
man
mama
had
issues.
4 wives,
Yikes.
and at the time,
Or
he
daddy
had 12
issues.
children,
Or
about to be
both.
13, and
No.
he was bringing in 3 more
Terrible.
children via his soon-to-be latest marriage. At this time, all those children were minors. None of them, except Mary and her child, had health insurance, and there was terrible repercussions from this lack of health insurance for the other kids, which we'll talk about a little bit
They didn't
later
have
in the
health
video.
care?
Also, the majority of the kids wanted to go to university,
What?
and even if you removed that fact and the health insurance, that's still a lot
You have
of
parent
mouths to
issues?
feed, roofs over heads, and
I
clothes on
am
backs.
thankful I
Taking
have
that all into
worked through
account,
things.
this
We've
man,
all kind
Cody
of
Brown, is driving
talked and
around
matured,
in a
but,
two-door Lexus convertible,
yeah.
which basically has no back seats. The self-centeredness.
I feel fortunate.
All of these wives
All of
and
these
children
kids.
and have some fancy tiny car.
What a
is
douchebag.
honestly unreal. The
Douche.
Browns are notorious when it comes to money issues, and I do want to say here that the original 3 wives and many of their older daughters are entangled in various predatory MLMs. And I have a specific chapter later in the video to talk
Just
about
toss
that,
them to the
because
side,
MLMs
yeah.
is one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to do this video in the first place. That will be in the next
Yeah, my dad was out of my
When the
life
show
for like
started,
8
the Browns
years,
were
and
earning
now
close to
things are better,
$500,000
but yeah,
a
no,
season
understandable.
between all of the
If they're
5
bad and
adults.
toxic
They
for
all,
you,
except
step
Robin,
away.
did have jobs when the show started, and you'll see a theme with
That is the
this,
best
because
thing to
Robin
do.
is the only wife who has never held a job, and yet she is also the only wife who has always had a nanny. But we'll get into that in a
Has
second.
always
Cody and
had
Janelle
a
were always the
nanny.
main breadwinners. Janelle worked as a bookkeeper, and then when her kids were young, she went back to college and got her degree. She got a bachelor's in accounting.
Good for
and she was
her.
still working full-time while she was in school. She later moved into real estate for TMI Realty from 2013 to 2018, and then she started her own business, Strive with Janelle, which is a blog via Instagram where she shares motivation.
Okay, 1.1 million followers.
Which is a predatory MLM, and Janelle is in the top 10 throughout the U.S. for selling plexus.
Oh.
She's making hundreds of thousands of dollars from
Yikes.
this MLM. When the show began, Cody was selling billboards and worked in marketing. He's had a variety of jobs, and it now seems as though he is selling guns, although
He's selling
stepped away
guns?
from that very
Like-
recently. Christine and Mary both worked part-time
Like a
when the
guns,
show
like at a
started.
fleet
Christine
farm,
usually
or
worked
where the
overnight
fuck is
because
he
she was
selling
the primary parent
guns?
for all of the kids, and also
That's
did a lot
so
of
weird.
homeschooling. When the show started and the family
I
became
don't know if
public
this is
about
enough
being
yet.
polygamists, Mary
I think
did
that'll
lose
be
her
good.
job. Christine and Mary are also notorious MLMers, and given how Christine and Mary
That's
also
shitty.
rank in the top percent of their corresponding MLMs,
Ladies.
they are also earning hundreds of thousands of dollars from their fans, but we'll get into that.
Well, not
in a
only from their
second.
fans, but from their downline. That's how
That's
MLMs work. You get enough people below you so that you can finally make money off of them. That's shitty.
Kids, McKelty and Gwendolyn, have recently started a Patreon, and Gwendolyn also has a
A million
YouTube where they watch
flowers,
the show and
right?
And they've spoken about their life
Right? Oh
before
my
the
gosh.
show
I
and the
can't
show's
wait until
money.
it's like
Discussed
spring and summer
sometimes
again so I
having
can
to
get
eat
flowers
warm
at the
bread
farmer's
from Cody's
market.
father's bakery
I miss
because
it.
money was so tight. When the Browns moved to Las Vegas, they
Alright.
stayed in some rental homes for a while, and then bought, built, and kitted out 4 big fancy houses in a cul-de-sac in Vegas. They
What
got
was
balloon
glue?
mortgages on these 4 homes, and when the mortgages were coming to term, they realized they had to get out of there and moved once again for pretty frivolous reasons. Over the years in Vegas, there
The
was some
chapstick?
strange
You thought the
unwanted
chapstick was
purchases.
glue?
It really was
Yeah.
when they randomly picked
I'm
up
finally gonna
money
shut the
from
fuck
South
up.
Arizona
Just gonna-
that things went into overdrive. Again, the Browns
Funny.
portrayed Flagstaff as a random move that they wanted to make because they didn't feel at home in Vegas despite having the best setup for polygamists. It doesn't seem so random when you consider Robin's eldest son was going to start college in Arizona that same year. This is also where we see even more of a double standard when it comes to Robin and her children. Cody expects all of his kids with the 3 original wives to be up and out of the house when they turn 18 and graduate high school. Yet
What?
all of Robin's adult children, who are well into their 20s, are all still living at home.
That is
When the family
shitty
moved
to do.
Arizona, this is when the houses began to differ dramatically. The move to
Thank you,
Flagstaff
yeah.
really highlighted the
I
fact
impulsively
of
went to the
hearing
bathroom
in
with
this family
scissors.
and also showed the huge
I shouldn't have done it, but I did it,
between
and
the
we're just gonna
wives.
keep
In
going.
Flagstaff, Mary has always lived in a very big fancy house. One even had an elevator. The houses are huge, and it's really
What?
questionable why she needs so much space, as it's just her and her house. However, Mary is paying for this herself.
Oh, then it doesn't fucking mind your business. If she's paying for it herself, mind your business.
And not taking money from the family fund. Janelle has rented a very small apartment in Flagstaff and spends the summers living in an RV on the land the Browns bought that they say they're going to build on one day, but it doesn't seem likely to happen. The only thing living on that land is rabid prairie dogs. Christina
Ew,
bought
what the
a house in
fuck?
Flagstaff as at the
Rabid
time,
prairie
she wanted to have
dogs?
something in her name
Okay.
as she was planning her
That's
escape from her
new.
marriage with Cody, and she didn't want to be left with no assets, because of course she isn't legally married to
Smart.
him, and therefore their divorce
Smart.
wouldn't be
And
a
that's why
traditional
women
one
used to
where
get
assets
jewelry,
and money is split.
expensive
Robin
jewelry,
lives in
because
an
they weren't
enormous
allowed to have
mansion that
assets.
cost almost $2 million.
And that was smart of
because
her to
Robin
keep those
doesn't work,
assets.
this house was purchased out of the family fund, with Janelle also giving Robin and Cody the money from the sale of her Vegas home so that Robin
What?
could purchase her home in Arizona. Cody has lived full-time with Robin since they moved to Flagstaff, and many viewers think this was actually happening before, but he was just better at lying about it when they lived in Vegas. When Cody has been asked about this
So they
unfair
took money
splitting of
from
his
all
time,
the
he
other
said that Robin gave him
families
an office and a space in her garage
to give
for
her a
his car, so that's
McMansion.
why he's there the most amount of time. So that's a basic money and home breakdown, and with moving so
Yuck.
much, so many people and houses and decisions like balloon mortgages, it's easy to see how their money vanishes so quickly.
Yeah.
It's obvious to most viewers that the finances are very unfairly split, especially
Yeah.
considering things like Janelle especially seems to be a saver and penny pincher, which in a family of 23 people is a fair thing to do. However, Robin and Cody do enjoy the finer things in life. Mary does also seem to like fancy houses and expensive trips, but she's using her own money, whereas Robin and Cody are using the family fund that the other wives have paid into. Many viewers enjoy
Shitty.
price matching a lot of the things on the show, as Robin and Cody are always decked out in expensive but ugly jewelry, and surrounded by expensive but ugly art. If you turned on a random episode of the show, you probably wouldn't think anything of the jewelry or the art you are seeing, but the price tags for these items
That's like
are
a lot
very
of art
high.
too,
Robin
crammed
also has
together.
lived in a family with a lot of credit card debt, and she had a huge amount of expenses because the other wives were all living in the one house, but Robin was at a separate house and also bringing in 3 children that were added expenses. Robin has never had any
So
income
Cody
outside of the
brought in a
show,
burden,
and she's also
and then
always
made
had a
his
nanny
other
for her
wives
children.
pay for her
Robin did have
and her
one
lifestyle
wander
and her
into
children.
quote-unquote business, which we'll discuss with the MLMs
Quote
in
unquote
the next
business,
chapter. When it
yeah.
comes to the Browns' finances, things seem to be all over the place, despite the fact that they have a show
Yikes.
that's paying them hundreds of thousands of dollars every year and picking up the big part of the tab for vacations, meals, trips, and activities shown on the show. That's all paid for by the production company Puddle Monkey. The polygamous lifestyle that pressures women to have large amounts of children and to fend for themselves to a degree, as there's no way one man can support all of these women and children. This life coupled together,
Which is
with
unfair.
poor
If you don't have the
decisions, a lot of
means
children,
to
and the
support
fact
them,
Robin
you
and
shouldn't
Cody
have them,
like a life
should
of
you?
grandeur, it's caused the
Like,
Browns'
that's what's
finances
shitty.
to be an absolute
And then men will be like,
mess,
oh,
which has
you're a gold
resulted
digger.
in
And
the
it's like,
3
where's the
original
gold?
wives
Because
pursuing
Cody is
predatory
literally living off of his
MLMs.
other wives. Where's the gold? Like, that's so fucked up.
The MLMs were actually one of the main reasons that I did want to talk
I love
about
MLMs.
Sister Wives and do
Not in like a
video
participation
around
way, but
their
in like
little
a,
cults,
you know,
if
when
you
they
want
come to
call it
light
that.
and
I mean,
everything goes up in
polygamy has been
flames.
called that before, but
LuLaRoe,
obviously sometimes I
Scentsy,
use the very loose
the
connotation of
bajillion
cults
others.
on this channel. But the MLMs are one of the most problematic things about this show, in my opinion. I just think that it's overlooked a lot of the time because they
That's
don't
fair.
really talk about it on the show. It's more pushed on social media. And then I also think there's just so much else going on that sometimes people are just obviously focusing on the family drama, which is what the show's about, that they're not really paying a lot of attention to the MLM side.
Makes sense.
And do I think that the wives are these evil people because they're involved in MLMs? No, I don't think that they're.
I think
you know,
it's
the
shitty
worst
to
of the
exploit
worst.
other people.
And I know some people may say, they probably don't have the best education and they're in these marriages
Exactly.
that are very predatory in a way too, because when they are spiritually married to their husband, they aren't actually legally married, because really if the husband wanted to, he could just completely abandon the wife and any of the children and any of the finances that would be involved with that, because they aren't legally married on paper. So I understand that they're in this situation, but they are on television earning
Yeah, I
hundreds of
remember being
thousands of
told
dollars,
that I would
and
never
there
know
is
love
also
until I was a
proper
mother.
employment,
And I'm
which
just
the
like, you
rest
can
of us
kind of
have
get
to
wrecked
do.
with that
So
one.
I really do
Like, I'm
have a
fully
hard time with
capable
the
of love.
MLMs,
Thank
because
you
I
very
just think
much.
MLMs in general
They're like, no,
are
because it's part of
awful,
you. And I'm like, no, that's
really
an individual,
everybody who
ma'am.
joins, except
Like, yes,
either
you know, it's
minor
got your DNA,
celebrities
but
like
that's his
Sister
own
Wives and
whole
other
ass
TLC
person.
people who get involved,
There's a lot of
or
people,
who
they
get
have
in at
kids
the
for the
very
wrong
beginning of
reasons.
MLM. Everyone else loses
I'm
money.
good. I'll
It's
get another
almost
cat,
guarantee
maybe
that
a
joining
fourth
an
one
MLM
even.
will mean you'll lose money. The Sister
And
Wives are
then when
mainly
I
involved in
die,
two
they
MLMs. The
can
first
just
being
eat
LuLaRoe, which
my
I'm sure
face
most
until
people have
help
heard of.
arrives
It's a
so that
very
my
famous
babies don't
clothing
starve.
MLM.
I'm
It
okay with
started off
that.
with leggings.
Numerous articles cite other dissatisfied sellers.
LuLaRoe. Whoa, I didn't even know LuLaRoe was gonna be in
There was
this.
a class action lawsuit brought
Hell
by former
yeah.
consultants against LuLaRoe,
Those,
alleging the company
oh,
motivated
LuLaRoe,
their
whatever. They're
appearance fee.
fugly
Numerous
leggings.
police attire filed a lawsuit for a breach
Ugly.
of contract, accusing them of
Cheap.
owing over $33 million for unpaid
Disgusting.
merchandise. The Washington State Attorney General filed a lawsuit.
LuLaRoe.
Business model violated the state's anti-pyramid scheme law.
And then the second MLM they're mostly
He maybe
involved with
did.
is Plexus,
Nibs
which
tried
is
to
one
eat
of
my
these
nose.
ones
I woke
that
up one morning to
claims
him
all
biting the
these
tip of my nose.
preposterous health benefits when
It was awful.
really it's nothing.
My eyes
It's
were
just
watering like
pretty much a
crazy. It
waste
hurts
of
so
money,
bad.
like a lot of MLMs.
I type in her username and boom.
Oh my
this is her.
goodness.
This post is coming from her verified Instagram account with nearly 1 million followers. And sure enough, as soon as I start scrolling through her Instagram account,
What is she
she's got
pushing?
several posts of her promoting Plexus products. So at this
Plex.
point,
I've never heard of
we've got an
them.
issue here. We've got a
Maybe I'm
reality
too
TV
poor.
star pitching a pyramid scheme to her nearly 1 million followers. I get to be their friend if I just pay for the Plexus starter kit and sign up to be in their download.
Oh my
Do you
god,
see how
sign
this is
up.
manipulative
You could be her
and
friend.
predatory? These people have an upper hand in the MLM business model that the average
Human
person does
soup,
not
yeah,
have. They
basically.
have fame and parasocial relationships playing in their advantage. Remember that the key to success in an MLM is recruitment. Those with the biggest teams make the most money. And what better way to
Facts.
recruit people in mass quantities than posting on your social media with 1 million followers that they can have personal access to you if they let you recruit them. And as we saw with some of those comments on Molly's post
I
about
mean-
how Plex is helping her lose weight, not everybody is in support of MLMs. Not everyone's going to fall for it. This pitch is not going to work on everybody, but it might work on some.
The LuLaRoe one, the leggings, that is primarily done by Mary, and some of the kids were
Ew.
involved with that as well. Christine did also have a LuLaRoe store for a long time, but
Oh, I know.
Christine
They don't
and
give a
Janelle
fuck
are
about their
mainly
filtered water
involved in
fountain.
Plexus now.
Plexus, the pink drink. This
They
is like
just
a
like
powder
sit
that
at
you mix with
the
water and it
bathtub
turns the water
faucet
pink, kind of like Crystal
and
Light.
wait.
And Plexus huns love to say that this cures
It's human
everything under the
soup.
sun,
They're like,
okay?
fuck yeah.
Drink the pink drink, your life is gonna change.
Absolutely.
Go
Cats are so
invincible,
weird.
you're so
They're
healthy,
funny.
You're gonna live forever and be immortal, basically.
Gus is sleeping on the ironing board behind me.
A lot of drinks, like their pink drink,
Even though he has
is
bed.
supposed to be
He has a
for weight
bed.
loss, and then they
Ironing
have
board is
all these
perfect.
other really outrageous claims with a variety of these different drinks and sachets that get added to things, and they talk about, you know, helping with things like diabetes and migraines, and it's all just mumbo jumbo.
It's all just a
jargon that
lie.
really means nothing, because if these drinks were really doing anything, I mean, it would be a medical breakthrough.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of videos on YouTube debunking all of these things, and there's a lot of other channels that cover the very predatory side of MLM, and I will link some of those in my sources down below.
I love
As I
those
said before,
deep
there
dives
are
into like
two
MLMs and
small
stuff.
groups of
Those are
people that
fantastic.
can make money in these MLMs, and generally they make a lot of money. And it's usually
Yeah, if you're
people
up high
who get in
enough, you
beginning
make
and
money.
minor celebrities, because the minor celebrities have such a pool of people that they can promote this
But
stuff
it's such a
to,
shame
that
though,
they're
like
bound
you really
get
have to
a
weigh
lot
the
of
risk
sales
of
and a
selling
lot
out
of
your
people
audience
joining their downline,
for
because people
what you're
who
getting. Like,
are
is it
really
worth
obsessed
the
with the
reward?
show, they
Probably
want to
not.
join and
Probably
be in
not. It's like
Christine and
the
Janelle or
the
Mary's
Haktua
downline.
girl
And
with
there's other
her
variations
meme
of that.
coin.
Christine and
Like,
Janelle
was it
do
worth
promotions
selling out your
sometimes
audience
with
for
Molly from
some
90 Day
money?
Fiancé,
Probably
because she
not,
does
because now
MLMs
you
as
no
well,
longer have an
and
audience.
there's a lot of
You've
minor
lost,
celebrities
you've
who
broken the
do
social
MLMs
contract,
because they're very lucrative
and no
for
one's
them.
gonna
But
trust
the
you
thing
now.
is, they're taking that money from their fans, and especially in the case of a lot of the TLC stars, they are taking money from their female audience, which is what MLMs prey on, is
They
a female
do.
audience. And
MLMs
for the most
prey
part,
on
Christine
female
and Janelle
audiences
and
and
Mary
women
are
in
all
general
very highly
to
ranked
sign
in
up
these
for MLMs.
and
They'll sell,
also
you know,
Janelle's
like
daughter
be a boss
Maddie is
babe,
very
financial
highly ranked, and
independence, you
Christine's
know,
daughter Mackenzie,
be your
they are
own, you
all
know,
making
run your own
hundreds of
business through this
thousands of
MLM.
dollars from these MLMs
And it's all fake.
and from their fans. There's also a lot of deception that goes on with MLMs. I mean, there's outright lying about products and about what you can achieve in the MLM, but also they really manipulate a lot of the optics and a lot of the results. For example, there's a lot of people involved with Plexus and this pink drink that's supposed to be for losing weight, that the people who are selling it are really taking things like Ozempic and then attributing it to this pink
That's
drink with
hilarious.
Plexus, and therefore lots of
Terrible,
people
but
see their
hilarious.
before and afters, and then they want to go and try and buy weight loss. And because the people selling these products aren't upfront, they think they're going to get, you know, these fantastic results, and it really isn't possible because these drinks just aren't what they say they are. And a lot of fans lately have accused Christine's
Health is
daughter
wealth,
and
and weight
her
loss
partner
cannot be
Tony
bought,
of doing this,
not
as
permanently.
They have had significant weight loss. They actually
They've been doing
joined the
studies
Plexus
about like the
MLM
regain
quite a
from
while ago,
Ozempic and stuff
then
like
all
that
of a
once people
sudden,
stop
very
it,
recently, within the
because they're
last
not
year or
fixing the
so,
real
they started
issue.
losing all this weight, so people are very confused as to why they were taking this pink drink for years and nothing happened. And then all of a sudden, when Ozempic was starting to get trendy,
I mean,
then
you
they
can't
started losing
just
the weight.
drink a
So
pink
lot of
drink and
fans
then
do
like
believe that
down
they
a
are
fucking
on
Whopper
Ozempic,
meal
and that is
and
what
be like,
is
gee,
causing
why
the
is
weight
nothing
loss. Obviously,
changing?
people
Like,
understand
it
that
doesn't
is
make
their business
sense.
and their medical
It's
history, but
crazy.
I think that what
There's just no
frustrates
thought
people
behind
is
it.
the fact that they are so in your face about
Like,
Plexus
man,
and these MLMs
I
in
can't eat
general,
my
and then
weight
it really
and crap
doesn't seem
every
like the weight
day
loss is
and lose
coming
weight just from
that.
drinking this
So
pink drink. It
that's why
doesn't
people
negate
end
it.
up
It
a
doesn't
little
void
bit
the
frustrated
calories.
with kind of this
It does not
different
defy the
narrative
laws of
that they are spinning.
thermodynamics.
Again, I
Calories
understand
in,
that these
calories
women weren't
out.
given the best education
Oot.
and chance, and maybe
Just
they
don't eat
truly
stuff with
from the
flour
beginning
in it,
didn't
girl.
understand what these MLMs were really like.
I
and
fuck
how
with
predatory
flour.
they were, but I
I'm
don't
gonna
think
still
this
eat
is
flour,
an excuse to continue
but I'm
pushing
also
faulty
gonna not eat
products
hyper
to
processed
their
foods.
audience who supported
That is
them and
my jam
making
right now.
them rich
Actually,
by
is
watching their show, but they are also manipulating
half
their
a.
viewers
It's not even
into
half a. It's a quarter
purchasing
cup
just
of
products
bread flour
that do
and plain
nothing
Greek
at
yogurt,
best
and I
are
make
harmful at
it's a
worst.
bagel.
This is made
It's a
even
bagel,
worse by the fact
and it's
that
bomb.
Plexus especially
I'm never gonna
preys
stop.
upon people with medical issues, and the sister wives are already earning money from starring on their show, and they also have enormous
Yeah, but you're not gonna
opportunities
eat that
to
like
earn
every
money the
single
way
day plus
normal
other
people
meals is what I'm
wouldn't, because
saying.
they are on a hit
Like there's
television
people
show.
who are
But if they
eating, you know,
really need
3,000
additional
calories a
money
day,
on
wondering
top
why
of
they
their
can't lose
TV
weight.
earnings, cameo earnings, other earnings through the show, they could get a job, as honestly anything is better than an MLM and preying on your own fans. So you may have noticed one of the sister wives was absent from not
Right,
only the
there you
MLM
go.
discussion, but from the job discussion, and that is the fourth wife,
I believe
Robin
in
Brown,
you.
because for the entirety
Have fun
of
eating
the
3,000
show, all
calories.
the other wives have always had a
You
job
have to do it
and
every day
worked,
though,
but
okay? Or it
Robin
doesn't
has
count.
never
Every day for a
worked,
year.
and she has
Let me know if you're
always
still at
also
110.
had a nanny, which is obviously another expense. She
Not
also,
only an
when you
expense,
look at
but
their situation
a
now,
luxury
and
that the
even
other
past
wives
couple of years, they
were
did
not
try
permitted.
and even out the money when they lived in Las Vegas, and when they were in Utah, they were obviously
Like the other
under
wives didn't
one
get fucking
roof.
nannies
But
and
in
shit.
Las
That's
Vegas,
crazy.
all the houses were pretty similar, but when they moved to Arizona, that's when the differences really started to be highlighted in how the money was being distributed in the family. The distribution of the finances being uneven is especially obvious when you look at the houses they all moved into in Arizona, with Robin moving into and buying a McMansion, and the others for the most part moving into very quote-unquote normal houses and
Yeah.
rented accommodation.
Those
I
are
did go into
very
a lot more detail
normal
about
houses
the
to
different
have.
households
But the
and houses
McMansion?
in the previous chapter. Robin did have one wander into employment, if you can call it that.
Well, yeah, it's a
because
drink
she
from
actually
Starbucks.
started a
Absolutely.
business that she roped the other wives and Cody into.
I haven't had
and it
Starbucks
ended
in
up
like
being
5
an
years.
absolute disaster. Robin started the business My Sister Wives
Their
Closet,
drinks, I
and
remember the
it was
last time I had
basically
one,
a jewelry
they taste
company
weird.
that
I don't know. I don't
also
like them.
sold really terrible
But I just get
t-shirts.
like,
The
the most I do is maybe a
was,
chai
I can't even
latte. And
describe
again, that's
it.
maybe
I'm gonna
once or
try
twice a
and
week
find
at
as many
max.
pictures and images as I can,
I try and keep
because
it,
a lot of it has been
keep it
scrubbed
down.
and it failed miserably, so it's not active
Because I fucking
anymore.
love
The
putting creamer in my
jewelry was
coffee.
extremely expensive.
Oh,
And
she
it
was
just
gonna
was very
a guilty
bizarre
pleasure.
designs, because
There you
a
go.
lot of
That's
it was
okay to have
based
your guilty
around
pleasures.
jewelry for polygamists, and I don't think
Jewelry
that there's
for
really
the
a lot
most
of polygamists out
non-polygamist
there
person
that would
in
have
in
hundreds of
all of the
dollars
sister
to
wives.
spend on polygamous jewelry.
No, no,
And
no.
there was a lot of discussion on the
It's
show
so
for
stupid.
some of the Las Vegas seasons about My Sister Wives Closet, and it just never really went anywhere. It
My
seemed to just
Sister
cost them
Wives
a lot of money.
Closet. Yeah, I think they're
know
underestimating
Robin
the
did
sheer
want it to
amount
be
of
an
polygamists
income
out there who
stream
are
for
wanting
the
to
family,
advertise
but
it with
none of the
jewelry.
rest of the family
You gotta
were
know your
interested in
market.
doing it, and
A Java
really,
chip? That
Cody
sounds
pressurized
nice.
all the other wives to get involved with it. So that was Robin's only foray into work, and it just failed miserably.
That was her
But things
only
are going to
job
get
that she ever
interesting
tried?
for Robin and Cody now,
Bitch, go work at a
because, as we'll
Kohl's.
discuss a little bit in the
Unbelievable.
later chapters,
Oh, I'm
because
too good
Cody
to
and
work.
Robin are now in a
Boo.
monogamous marriage, and Mary, Janelle, and Christine have all left.
Like, get a
They
freaking
left
job.
and took their income
Yeah,
with them.
good, as
So
they
Cody and
should have.
Robin, both my
Mooches,
understanding, I
leeches.
follow a lot of the Sister Wives YouTube channels, and
Oh my
listened
gosh.
to
She has
the
another
podcast
cat. So
by
cute.
Caitlin Fanning, and most people have said now that
He's
Cody
behind the
is not
chat.
working either. He previously was selling guns, and Robin
I
has
love
said
Mom's
has never
Second
worked. The
Rings.
primary reason that I
I
really
do
think
love those.
Robin
I've
wanted
seen
Mary
them.
to
They're
hold
so
off for
pretty.
long was to keep
I was looking at
that
some earrings
nice
too,
big
and then I was like,
income,
no.
because even though
I'm just
the
doing gold
MLMs are
hoops.
awful,
But yeah,
they
no,
will
Moss
bring
Agate
a
is
lot
so
of money
pretty.
into the Sister
So
Wives.
pretty.
So it will be interesting to see how things are going to evolve moving forward. The brown adults are always going to have the income from the show, and who knows
Yeah,
how long that
they'll
will
have
go
the
on,
income, but
it's in this
at least the
interesting
other
place right
wives
now, and
have
again, we'll
their
talk about
jobs
this
as
more
well.
towards the end.
Like
But
they're
the
not just
ratings
solely
are
relying on the
so
show,
high for
like
this
Cody
show
and
right now.
Robin.
But where does the show go from
Yeah,
here?
where does it
Because
go?
these people don't not only live together anymore, but they just don't interact with
They
each
can
other.
just change
And
it
most of them hate
to
each
wife
other. So
with
while
Cody
that
and
would be interesting
Robin.
to watch, I don't get how you have this show when they're all living these separate lives. There has to be some sort of
Just be a
interaction
fairy.
for
Yes,
us to see
there you
what's
go.
going on between them.
Yeah, I
But
was looking at
again,
some
we'll talk
Moss
about
Agate
that more
earrings, and then
towards
I
the
was like, you
end.
know what? I'm
So
just
before
gonna
we
do
get
some
into
simple
talking
gold
about the
hoops.
last couple of seasons,
I gotta order
otherwise
those
leaving
eventually.
where we are now with the show, what happened to this family, I do just want to go through some of the consequences that have happened from this family not prioritizing things like health insurance for their children. Because having 18 kids and not having any
At
health
least
insurance
a
for
savings
them,
account for
18
healthcare
children, of course,
expenses.
something is going
Like, it's
to
one thing to
happen
not be
one of
insured,
them.
it's another
And
thing to
before
not
the
even
show,
have
we'd heard a
the
lot
setup.
about things like Maddie, Janelle's daughter, had her
No, same.
appendix
That's why I'm
out,
waiting.
and that had caused a
Like,
huge bill.
they're
Because
really
again, she
nice
was
gold hoops,
uninsured.
but
there's been 3
I have
incidents that we know of throughout the
7,
show
8,
that have really
8 piercings.
highlighted why
And I
this
like
is
to kind of
such
like
a
curate
gamble,
everything
and
together
it's
to be
just
styled.
resulted in
So
some
I'm waiting
seriously
patiently
dangerous situations
with what I currently have.
There's 3 different situations that happened with 3 different kids, and
I know one of
them
his
was
children has a severe
almost fatal. The first
spine
one
issue.
I want to talk about is one that has
Who is
been
it?
lied about a lot.
Oh, an allergy?
by Cody
Got
and Robin,
you.
and that was the injury
That
that Robin's
sucks.
oldest son Dayton sustained when he was riding an ATV.
Oh.
Basically, for years, we, the audience, were told
Okay, I've fucked
that
around on
this
a lot of
injury
ATVs,
occurred
and I've never
when
crashed.
Dayton's
Knock, knock, knock.
birth
So I
father,
don't,
Robin's
die next
first
time. But
husband,
like,
was minding the
you gotta
kids,
be
and
really
Dayton had
fucking
ridden
around.
into barbed wire when he was on an ATV.
Really, surgical steel
And
is a no-go?
this
Damn.
really caused a serious injury to his face, in particular his eye.
I need to get some more
He needed
piercings,
extensive
though. That is on my
surgery,
list.
extensive plastic surgery, and down the road, I mean, this is years and years later, only recently have we found this out, that in fact this happened on Cody's watch. And because this occurred and
What?
they didn't have health insurance and this was going to cost a lot of money, they actually used this as a bargaining chip to get custody of Robin's 3 kids from her previous marriage. They spoke to Robin's ex-husband, David Preston, and basically said to him they would take on all the medical debt if he gave up custody of the kids. There was a lot of surgeries for...
So Cody doesn't watch the kid while they're on an ATV. And then the kid gets severely injured, and so they go to the dad and go, hey, because of Cody's neglect, we're about to rack up a lot of medical expenses. You want to give the kid to us? That just doesn't seem... I don't know. That seems weird. Off. Sus? I think Cody hurt that kid. I'm kidding.
And he seems to be doing great.
That just seems a little weird.
But it was
Alright.
a really serious situation. And it doesn't get better with these 2 stories, because The next one was probably the most dangerous one that has happened to them, and it also was played out on the show for us all to see.
Also on Cody's watch.
When they were in Las
Trulies,
Vegas, there
I've
was
heard
an episode of the show where
a little
Cody
bit about
is
this.
minding the kids and the sister wives are going out of town, and they discuss extensively how Cody has not been alone with all his kids in a number of years. All of the older daughters
he's
were
finally
around,
forced to be a
so
parent.
that was at least a little bit of reassurance to the sister
Oh,
wives.
okay,
But
thank
even
goodness,
though
the
they're
older
parental
daughters. Notice that it's the
children,
older
they're
daughters,
still
not the
children,
older
and
sons
they're not
either.
going
Just
to have
the women,
the
because
best
that's
knowledge
women's work.
about a sick
Ooh,
child
I hate
and
this
what to
traditional
do.
bullshit.
So Christine's
Ooh.
youngest daughter, Truly, I'm not great with kids' ages. I think she was around 4 or
Oh yeah, no,
5
I
at
don't
the
buy
time.
earrings at department
Basically, she was
stores.
ill while
I
Cody
go
was
through
minding
piercing
her.
shops
Christine's
mostly,
oldest daughter,
or
Esther,
online,
was
unfortunately.
helping with minding Truly, and she
But
spoke
mostly
on camera
piercing
about
shops.
Truly getting up in the middle of the night and moving around because she was feeling so unwell.
That's such a
And
bummer.
in the end, Christine ended up coming home.
No
to
Hot
a
Topic
very,
either.
very sick Truly, and Christine said that when she got home, Truly actually went cross-eyed because she was so unwell.
And she just kept going cross-eyed. I don't know this. I don't know how serious this is. Why didn't I know that it's a serious thing that if her eyes are going cross-eyed, you have to take her to emergency? I just didn't get that.
Christine rushed her to the hospital, and they found
Did
out
Cody
that
not
she
tell
had
her
been
that-
drinking. She was completely dehydrated, and her kidneys were shutting down.
And he
Whoa.
goes, this is serious. He goes, you're looking at a possible kidney failure and meningitis. Because this is serious. When eyes go crossed, that's emergency.
Truly didn't look good. Do you have a brain tumor? Do you have a meningitis? That if a meningitis has been there too long, it can be devastating, even to the point of death.
Did Cody
So,
know
we're
that
nervous at this
his
point.
kid was
Truly
sick?
was in hospital for weeks and weeks, and it was really serious. I have spoken before on this channel about the fact that in my real job, I own a medical group, so I have a lot of doctors that work for me, and I'm around medical situations.
Wait, you
all the
own a
time,
medical
and
group?
If you are having a small
What in the
child
ruling
that is
class
so
is
ill
this?
and so dehydrated, their
How do you own a
kidneys are
medical
shutting down,
group?
I mean, that's a really serious situation. I'm sure anyone who has even the most basic medical knowledge would agree with that. So Truly was in the hospital for quite a while. Thankfully,
I know,
she was
yeah, it's
okay
women's
now.
work.
Everything was cleared up.
Shit
She was
pisses me
discharged.
off.
She was fine. But this left Christine with an enormous medical bill. I have heard before it was in the high six figures. Obviously, I don't really have a way of confirming that because, you know, a lot of the people who talk about this
Right,
show,
well, no one's
especially,
gonna
like, a lot of
lay
the
out their medical bills
mainstream
for you.
people and all that magazines, they, I think sometimes
I have
are
hair standing up.
not the
Bear with me.
best great with sourcing,
There we
but I have heard that from a couple of places. And obviously myself, working in the US, in hospitals and doctors' offices, I don't think that's an outrageous figure. But things only got worse with medical
Okay,
bills
you don't think it's an
with
outrageous
Christine
figure, but to
because
have to
her
pay
other
it
daughter,
is.
Isabel, had a very serious
Like-
scoliosis diagnosis. And again, anyone who knows about scoliosis, it's a very painful thing. It's basically when your spine starts to curve, and it can curve so much that it can start to crush some of your organs.
Jesus.
It's very painful, and the surgery to correct it is extremely serious, has a long recovery, and is very painful. My first girlfriend had scoliosis surgery, and she had to get one of her ribs removed to use, and she had one of those cards when you go through the airport because she had titanium rods and metal screws in her back, and it was an enormous operation. And when
Jeez.
Christine's daughter was diagnosed with it, they went through this period of time where they were trying to do everything to avoid giving her the surgery, especially Cody. He was sending her to a camp and, you know, having her do all these
Sending her to a
exercises.
camp?
And scoliosis isn't something that you can
You
do
can't
some
pray the gay
exercises for.
away.
It's,
You
again, an
you can't
extremely
pray your
serious
spine
surgery that you
straight,
need to
honey.
have. And
What
most
kind of camp?
scoliosis surgeries, depending on how bad the
What
curve
the
is,
fuck?
they will cost between
So they just,
$600,000
you
and
know,
$1 million in the U.S.
made her
I remember,
live in
again,
pain
my
longer.
ex-girlfriend's one. Thankfully, both her parents had really good insurance, but it was almost $1 million all said and done.
Well, who
So
gives a
Christine,
shit? Like, that's the
not
point of
having health
insurance,
with
frankly.
kids,
I
she
work in
ended up having
insurance,
to raise
and
money and then
I
also
find nothing weirder than when people call in and they apologize to insurance about the cost of a person. Oh, I'm so sorry that you guys had to pay. Why? What in the boot-licking hell would you be apologizing to an insurance company for having to pay a fucking claim? You pay a premium every month of your life. I pay a premium with every single one of my paychecks. Like, I will never call my insurer and go, I'm so sorry you had to pay out. That is the only purpose of you. It's so weird. So who gives a fuck if it was almost $1 million? Like, I don't understand this. It shouldn't matter. We should have universal health care anyways. Weird to care. Weird to care. Like,
got money from her
ew.
MLMs,
Ew.
and she was able to pay for the surgery. But you'll notice I said Christine got this money, and of course Cody didn't contribute anything.
Of course not.
And he
God forbid Cody contribute.
over money from the family fund for Robin to buy a mansion, but not willing to give Christine money for their child to have necessary surgery.
What a
but
dick.
There's also more to the story with Isabel, Christine's daughter's surgery, because this actually happened during COVID.
That's
and a lot
right.
Of viewers point to this surgery
I
as
recall this.
being when Christine was done with being married to Cody, because the surgery was happening on the East Coast. So they had to, during COVID, they had to go quarantine for 2 weeks. Then they'd have the surgery, and again, it's a very extensive surgery. You need like 6 to 8 weeks to recover, so she couldn't just fly back. And Christine and some of her other children went to New Jersey and stayed there the whole time. Isabel really wanted to have her dad there and asked him to come even for, part of the time or a few days.
And
or
he
a week.
refused.
And he ended up saying that he couldn't go because
Robin's
he couldn't be
kids.
away from his life for that long, and he couldn't leave Robin's young children, who I always find it interesting that he talks about Robin's children being so much younger, when really there's only like a year and a bit difference between Robin's oldest son with Cody and Christine's youngest daughter.
And the final thing for me was like Isabel's
That's
surgery.
so
That was
shitty.
like absolute, that was it. Because he said to her, he goes, I can't leave my family for that long. And afterwards Isabel goes, I thought we were family. I thought he was my dad.
Yeah.
He can't be with us because he has to stay with his family. What does that mean? What am I? So I was like, oh, we're done. I can't be married to a guy who doesn't.
Who tells his daughter when she's in
just
pain that she's
one
basically
of
not his
10,000
family.
That most
That's
people
so
who watch
fucked
this show
up.
believe that Robin and Robin's children are highly favored by Cody. But it gets even
That's
worse.
gross.
It couldn't get worse, it gets worse. Not only did Cody not pay for the
Yeah.
surgery, not
Didn't
only
go
did he
see
not
her.
go to the surgery, but shortly after the surgery, he went to his friend's wedding to officiate it. He tried to blame COVID for why he didn't want to go to the surgery, but he's
Cool to go to a
and
wedding.
going to a wedding with dozens and dozens and probably over 100
No one's
people.
masked if this is during
it's
COVID.
just,
God, he
again,
dances like a
things that
douchebag. And he
people
looks like
point
one
to
too.
That really highlight
Fucking
why,
hell.
after all these years, people have really
Ew.
become frustrated with Cody Brown.
Ew. That man wanted to have children. He did not want to be a father nor a parent.
Interesting place right now. They've
Gross.
just finished the 18th season, and they are actually putting out specials because the show is so popular and the ratings are so high. They're actually putting out these things called lookbacks and talkbacks, where basically
oh yeah, I've been
the
seeing some of
members
these.
the family sit down and they watch past episodes of the show.
You ready for the big fight?
The fight with Janelle? I'm not watching that again. No, listen, I don't want to talk about my breakup with Janelle anymore, okay? It's very painful. It's as bad as Christine.
And he has to look at his shitty behavior. And then they're gonna go, so why did you feel that was appropriate? Yeah, exactly. What an ass.
More than the actual show. So I definitely foresee this format continuing, judging by the response on social media over the past few days, because these episodes,
I mean, I don't really care. Why are you covering this?
Seem to be eating it up, and it is so cheap to produce. It's basically just an iPad. That's the only budget they need. So I definitely foresee them doing more things like this, because it brings in the ratings, it brings in more money, and that's kind of
woo, body number 4, body yada yada yada.
Most likely the show never would have got to this place if it wasn't for Christine leaving. Because if Christine...
Are you gonna like actually talk about what happened?
For over a decade, the Browns put on a front and told the real polygamy.
That's so fascinating. Okay, I'm bored now. I'm bored with you. Let's see.
In general, on the internet, be it
you know what?
YouTube, podcasts, or Reddit. So for that,
I don't want to play with you anymore. Let's look elsewhere. So. Man, maybe I should watch that one. Life ruined. Ooh, P. Diddy. Man, I gotta watch. No, it's her video again. I think there's another YouTube channel that I follow that did a P. Diddy documentary. I think it was a couple weeks ago that it dropped. I remember seeing it when it was like fresh, and I was like, no, I don't want to jump on that, because that'd be a dick move, you know? I try and wait for something that's been out for a little bit before I take a look at it, just because I want to be fair to people. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk. Yeah, you know, it's like, man, I just released that video, and here I come to look at it and show it. I want to make sure people get a chance to like get credit for their shit. All right, let's get off of her channel, because blah, 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 blah. Anyways. I should have pre-watched. I usually kind of like at least take a closer look, but I was like, no, this should be fine. She was boring. I'm bored. No, I'm not bored by like the Sister Wives though. That was tea, don't get me wrong, but so much nonsense. Unneeded filler. I don't like it. Let's see. Love is Blind. Oh. That's a hard no. Yikes. That's political. No, thank you. Okay, I want more Sister Wives stuff, though. Maybe if my laptop decides to work. Being a real pile of shit here, bro. Stop it. Be real cool if you weren't. You know? If you could just not. Or if you just could. No, you can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Come on. I'm trying. Oh my god. I'm asking a little much of it at this moment. And I get that. But I'm gonna keep asking a lot. Let's see. Okay. let's see. Dire financial situation exposed. One man, 6 wives, 29 children. Oh shit, that's not even Cody. That's just some, well, future Cody. He's bald and looks sad. Let's see. Ew, the actual TLC channel? No, thank you. Okay, let's see here. That is taking like a hot minute to even function. Yeah, I'm not really into like cat videos. I don't know. Like I'm not against it, but no. Cause I was hoping to get more from a title that I saw. And I'm not finding it. Abruptly quits podcast. Bombshell revelations, I highly doubt. Okay. Seeking Sister Wives has been a weird show that I've seen parts of. Where it's usually like a couple that wants to get into polygamy. And so like the wife is like going out and trying to set him up on dates and stuff, and the other ladies hate it. They're like, oh, you want me to date your husband and then be like your sister? They're not into it. And it's weird. They like went to a bar to pick him up. Oh, that's just... Ew. God, I hate the internet. Some searches, I swear, sometimes like I'll be looking through YouTube and it feels like Facebook with some of just the shitty stuff that's out there. I mean, don't get me wrong, this isn't exactly top tier content coming out of me, but like top 9 celebrities who underwent transitions, and it's celebrities who truly didn't ever do any of that. Like one of the guys is from, what's that terrible show? Big Bang Theory. It's like the lead guy of that. It's like, yeah, that never happened. I hate stuff like that because old people see it and it just perpetuates fucking lies. Anyways, let's see. I'm not finding anything. Womp womp. Womp womp. Deep dive. I don't have time for 2.5 hours. Let's do something fast and easy. Let's see. Okay. Ew, Ryan Reynolds. Gross. Alright. Alright. Nope, never heard of Katie Van... What's that face? Nope. But I mean, so much I've never heard of. You never know. Alright.
Hey you, and welcome.
Hey
My
you.
name's Mike, and in this old video, the story takes us to a Wednesday in February 2022. That evening, a man was driving home through the streets of
I said Grand
Beach,
unironically
Florida,
the other
through
day,
a
and I'm like,
area,
okay.
dimly lit, and
I guess
no
I
one
say
was
Grand
around.
now.
As he was driving calmly, the music
Horses?
down low, he noticed something out on the
I
middle
don't-
of the road ahead of him.
Like,
It was
YouTube videos about
He
horses?
stopped the car, he put the hazards on, and he got out to move, this obstruction in the middle of the
I'd
road.
rather, like,
And that
go
is
and
when
see a
he
horse
was ambushed.
IRL.
The story behind it is
And
really
baby
intense.
horses?
Now,
I don't
let's
know
give it a
about that. Do you just, like, just watching videos about them? I mean, I like internet slop. I'm just trying to not show videos that are just about pedophiles. Like, genuinely, the number of pred catcher videos and, like, deep dives that I have. I'm trying to keep it mildly family friendly. I watch YouTube channels that cover people who like to wear used diapers. Alright, that's where we're coming from.
You know, to meet, to hang out, they would go out for dinner, they would go to the movies, all that sort of thing. And joining them for that date night as well was Jared's
You want 12 horses? That sounds like a lot of upkeep.
Even better, right?
That sounds like 12 stalls that need to be scooped. As someone who's cleaned horse stalls.
It was a very happy time. And so after spending, you know, some great hours together, Jared dropped his twins off at the house of his ex-wife and her new husband, and then he began driving home to where he now lived with his current wife, with his sleeping 2-year-old daughter in the backseat. He was driving along Sanctuary Boulevard, South Jacksonville Beach, and it's a very quiet suburban area, right on the edge of town where the swamps are.
Ew.
So there's houses out there, but it's often broken up by the dense vegetation and trees and
I don't think I could deal with living in that area with the gators. No, thank you.
On a dark February night, he just spoken to his current wife, Kirsten, on the phone. Then his headlights illuminated something on the middle of the road. Something which, as he slowed the car down, getting closer and closer, he realized sitting there was a damaged tire. He slowed the car down, presumed it had just fallen off a truck or something, and so with his sleeping 2-year-old in the back seat, he put the parking brake on, put the hazards on, and got out of the car to try and drag it off the road.
Okay, it was like a hazard in the middle of the road?
That gunshots rang out.
Oh, funsies, it's an ambush.
As I said, this was a quiet area. No one was walking the streets, and there were no other cars on the road. But people living in the houses nearby heard those gunshots.
Well, yeah.
And minutes later, a witness came across Jared lying in the middle of the road.
Oh, that's sad. Okay.
He had been shot dead.
That's fucked up.
He was already
with
gone.
Children in the car?
And then the witness heard
Shit.
crying. And
Yeah.
So walking over to Jared's car, they saw in the back seat
It's
his
awful.
2-year-old daughter bawling her eyes out. Also, disturbingly, they noticed little holes inside the car, like someone had tried to shoot the child too.
News 4 Jack starts right now with a
What? They tried to shoot the child too? What the fuck?
breaking news alert comes from Jacksonville.
What is
Beach.
wrong with
Police
people?
investigating a deadly shooting tonight. This is a live look at the scene. Police still
Oh my
out there
gosh,
right
am
now.
I at enough for a ring yet?
He says it was one gunshot followed by a pause and then 2 more.
Yeah. Yeah, I am. I'm gonna call it. Okay, I need to note how many stitches this is.
Florida when he was still very young.
Let's see.
And at 33, very successful in the tech industry, so he was. He started with his own company back in the state of Utah while he was attending university there, lured there by his girlfriend. Mezzi was the company he was the founder of, and it was kind of like a pre-Instagram photo sharing app. It was very successful, and life was off to a great start, you know, in his early 20s. In 2010, he married Shanna Gardner, and together they had twins, a boy and a girl, and they moved to Connecticut while he had a
12,
team back in
25,
Utah.
and 12.
They actually moved to the East Coast because his son, the male of the twins, was born with a heart defect, and so they were told by doctors.
That's a chopstick. What the fuck?
Sea level for his heart condition.
Oh my god.
Later on, Jared and the family, they went to Florida where he had grown up, and Jared went on to work for bigger companies, you know, off the shoulders of his little startup. I'm talking Canopy.
Ridiculous.
And eventually, Microsoft. That's where he's been currently working as a senior design.
I need to clean out my desk. Why do I have a chopstick in my drawer?
Oh.
Okay, I gotta take that later. Yeah, I was using them when I was blocking. I was stabbing anything that I had into my big foam squares. So I was using, I still have them here. I was using paintbrushes and chopsticks so that I could, like, just lay my squares over them. I have, oh my gosh, okay, and then I need to note this as well.
She allegedly began having an affair with the CrossFit instructor, something
Cheater! Gross. Cheating's the worst. It's such a shitty thing to do to somebody. Like, how do you trust after being cheated on? That shit sucks.
Shanna filed for divorce in 2015, and there were some nasty. I'm talking real nasty allegations coming from both sides. And they still lived in the marital home at the time, and this went off the rails real quick.
I guess I don't need to do this now.
And abusive, and he would fire back, saying she was controlling and manipulative. At one point, he found a hidden baby monitor under his son's bed. She was seemingly observing their interactions.
That's weird.
Yeah, creepy. At one point, Jared wrote in an email, quote, "I want the gates of hell," unleashed upon her. Eventually, though, the dust settled, and they would go their separate ways. In 2017, still living in Florida, Jared met and married Kirsten, and they would have a daughter together in 2020, followed by another the following year. In 2018, Shannon married Mario Fernandez Saldana, who was a maintenance man at the CrossFit gym she attended, before beginning her own business, Beach Baked 904, Bakery on the Beach.
Hey, Shannon.
Hey, Jean.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm here, wide awake.
Awesome. Well, I know you are a busy baker. You stay up.
This is like an interview?
Hours of the morning just baking. Tell us about Beach Baked 904.
Saying I'm here is like low-key just being like, I want to kill myself, but I showed up today. Like, that's the equivalent of I'm here. Or living the dream.
Off at Shanna's house, Jared drove 2 miles before he was ambushed, shot to death.
Jesus.
Police arrived quickly at the scene and found Jared, but he was already gone. His daughter had been quickly rescued from the car and was with EMTs, while Kirsten was racing to the police station. At the scene, though, well, it didn't look exactly like what they first thought. This had been an ambush, that which was clear somebody had placed a tire there waiting for a car to come up when they could, get them. But, first off you're thinking, carjacking gone wrong, somebody was just waiting there for the right, moment. But the car hadn't been stolen, and there was no evidence of a struggle. In fact, it seemed like Jared had been shot multiple times in the back, and he had his ring, his watch, his
shot
wallet,
in the back? That's fucked up.
Gathering nearby CCTV, the police were able to discover that the tire had just been placed there. It was a quiet area, and no other cars were seen swerving to avoid it on cameras. Unfortunately, though, the cameras were too far away to actually see, who had done this, who had been there. The police quickly came to the conclusion that this had been an ambush, but an ambush specifically for Jared Brydon. Likely somebody who knew his route home and what time he would take it. The only thing they had to go on at this point was a 2004 to 2008 Ford F-150, which had been seen leaving the area around the time of the shooting. That was it. The police quickly had more resources. The FBI and ATF joined in the search for Jared's
Really?
killer,
The FBI jumped in that quickly?
Contact them.
We will find them, and they will be held accountable.
She definitely did it.
A vigil last week begging for someone to come forward.
No, just
I have
kidding.
an odd sense
It's
of
probably one of those where they like
justice
convinced their new boyfriend
doesn't mean I'm not going to
to
stop
do
fighting for
it.
it. So I think that's important. I think it's important that everyone keeps fighting for it, especially in this community where it happened. But I feel like it's coming.
His widow still holding on to hope for a break in the case.
A reward was offered, $55,000 for any information leading to the arrest and conviction of the killer. Anna was Kirsten, Jared's widow, who would not let this case go cold.
Kirsten Brydon has a phone full of memories, videos and pictures capturing the love her husband Jared Brydon had for his family.
It's not just this photo you see on TV. He was a great dad, the best spouse, and I want people to know that so they know why it's important that we find the truck.
In the month and a half since Jared's murder, she has printed and hung up countless flyers at local businesses in Jacksonville Beach and started an Instagram page, Justice for Jared B.
She continued to make this news, make sure no one ever forgot this case. She set up social media sites, did interviews, and tried to spread the word as much as she possibly could, and she did a tremendous job at that. Who could have done this? Well, tracking them would not be easy. And speaking of making it hard to be tracked, this whole video is sponsored by Incogni. Thanks, Incogni. Here, I know that's not physically possible, Smart. You can get your information being down. It says exactly that. Right. Now, back to solving the murder of Jared Bridegan. Months were passing, but the
Unethical react.
was nowhere to be found. And even though Jared had, so tragically passed, the contentiousness between the Bridigans and Shanna and Mario had not gone away. Shanna did not attend her ex-husband's funeral, and it seems like she didn't allow her kids to either.
There it is.
Shanna did have a celebration of
She's
life
probably
for
gonna be
Jared
like,
at her own beachfront property.
she probably told him
With
some
pictures,
stories about him being horribly
celebration of
abusive,
life
and she
for
was like,
sure.
you gotta kill him.
Just not sure
Gotta
how much
do it.
Jared was involved in the whole thing. Shanna
Do
quickly
it for
hired
me,
a prominent
Stu.
defense attorney, though, to protect
That's
her
from The
family
Grinch,
from
if you don't know.
not just people talking about this online, but from the media, paparazzi, all that sort of thing. And things were so stressful. 5 weeks after Jared was murdered, they all had to go and
Yeah.
As her innocence has come into question,
Yeah,
Shanna
she-
Gardner
she
spoke to
definitely
me in
convinced the new
own
guy to
TV
do it.
interview She says she'll be doing to tell her side of the story.
I do want people to understand.
Did you have anything to do with Jared's murder?
No, I did not have anything to do with his murder.
Did she have a life insurance policy on her ex-husband?
Or what Jared was involved in.
Do you have
You know, you can take a life insurance policy out on like anybody, and as long as you pay the premium, you get a payout. Isn't that
As
crazy?
I said, we've been divorced. We don't run in the same social circles. All I know is that I would never want anybody to go through this.
But a few short months later, it would seem like Shanna and Mario actually split, and Shanna would move to West Richland in Washington State, as far as possible from it all, I guess she wanted to be. Her parents are also extremely, with a big, massive E, wealthy. The kids have trust funds. They bought a house for Shanna in Washington.
Okay.
All of that.
So
Likely
maybe
they wanted their
not a
daughters to
life
move back
insurance
to the state of
policy
Washington.
murder.
See, her mother, Sherry, owns her own company, Stampin' Up. And it's one of those incredible multi-level marketing, aka pyramid
Yeah.
schemes.
It has been a long, hard haul for some of it.
Ew, she has the Karen haircut. Ew.
Like every day is a new chance.
Holy shit, the inversion on that bob.
Advisors and people say,
Damn.
"Hey, you're doing this wrong. You know deep down inside your heart's
Some
doing one thing and everyone else is doing something else. How do you balance that?"
I think it's hard.
At least you know Shanna comes from a family that
They did her dirty. You did her so dirty with that. That was horrifying. I'm so scared.
2004 Ford F-150 Lariat. And with that
Oh my
vehicle
God.
seen leaving, that narrowed it down.
I'm gonna have, she low-key, if you've seen pictures of like the Terrifier, I don't recommend the movie. But she kind of looks like that. I highly hated those movies. I do not recommend them. Unless you're into gore porn. Ugh.
6 months after the murder of
Whoever wrote that should be on a fucking list.
He had a history, and a shotgun was found in the trunk of his vehicle during a traffic stop. They used that to bring him in, but detectives quickly began questioning Henry about
Hi, Gus.
the night off, about Jared,
Hear you
about
moving.
that car that had been seen in the area. Henry had a history, not a major one though, 9 arrests, but all on minor offences. Now during the questioning, Henry kept his mouth shut, did not say one iota.
Smart. Ask for a lawyer.
Flat
Never
out
talk to the
beggar. But it
cops.
was during a background check the detectives noticed something quite interesting. He was renting a house from Mario Fernandez Saldana. The husband of Shanna. A link, a tenuous one at best, but a link between Henry and Jared. The police were able to keep Henry in jail on that driving charge. And it was then in October 2022, after he'd been held for about 2 months.
It
the police going
depends.
through his financial records.
So Gus
they
is pretty
found
chill about me picking him up,
handwritten checks
but it depends on like
from Mario,
his mood. If he doesn't want to be picked up,
which
he's gonna make it clear that he wants to be put down.
Mario, why would
Same
he
with
be paying
Nibs.
him? It was also found
But
that in
Nibs is
February,
a cuddle
the
bug.
monthly
They both
ambush,
kind of are
Henry
actually.
and Mario had called each other 35 times.
No.
The next month,
Does
30
Diego like
times.
to be carried?
And then after
Picked
that,
up at all?
like, almost zero. A busy time, it would appear.
Tonight, Jacksonville Beach police have a suspect in a local father's murder. 61-year-old Henry Tenen faces
A
several charges.
61-year-old? I don't think he did it.
Planned and targeted.
Why would a 61-year-old be willing to
In
do
January
that?
2023, 61-year-old Henry Tenen was charged with conspiracy to commit murder,
Really?
second-degree murder with a weapon, accessory after the fact to a capital felony,
But why?
and
Why
felony
did he do
child
it?
abuse.
Hi, buddy.
Child abuse charge stemmed from the traumatized, 2-year-old daughter who had been in the back of the car. Now, whether he did try and kill her, I don't know. That's up for debate.
Yeah, but like, why? Hey, chunk monk. Come here, big boy.
Henry Tennant did not act alone.
Then, 2 months later, in March, he decided, you know what?
I don't get why he would do it, though.
He pleaded guilty to all of the charges, and he told the story. It had, allegedly, all been overly divorced and the subsequent custody issues between Jared and Shanna. But equally as much as all that, hatred. Pure, unadulterated hatred they had for Jared. I would say that's a fair assessment after what allegedly happened. A full motive hasn't been given, and likely won't until later, but noted were the highly contentious divorce proceedings. And then after divorce was even finalized, complaints were made regularly between Shanna and Jared in court over issues with their kids. Like, sometimes it would be extremely petty stuff, like
gotta look where you put your ass, bro.
Give Shanna a breathing machine for their son. Now, Shanna already had one, but Jared had like the smaller one, and she wanted it to travel. Extreme pettiness.
He does not carry crumbs in his fur. He's clean. He's a good boy. Oh my goodness, it's so mean.
One day,
he's just a chunky monkey. It's fluff. It's just, it's his hair.
Henry said yes, and he got some free payments.
What, bud? No.
Then Henry was told the route Jared
no, get down.
Found a darkly lit place along that route. And then after Jared dropped the twins off at the house, somebody texted Henry
he's
saying
just a big
he's on the way,
boy.
and Henry dragged out the top.
No. And he kills mice. He's a ferocious hunter. He's just a baby.
On March 16th, Mario Fernandez Saldana was
they're being mean to
arrested in
you over your
Orlando.
winter
He was
fluff.
charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, solicitation to a capital felony, and child abuse. Then, months later,
He is just a baby.
Shanna Lee Gardner, she went back to her old name since splitting from Mario.
He's gonna grow into
was
it.
arrested and charged with the same as Mario.
3026, they're making contact with the front door right now.
That's first-degree murder amongst other charges. It was a conspiracy between the three of them.
Yeah.
Prosecutors have said they don't believe anyone else
See,
was
she
involved.
definitely, she probably told lies, and she was like, you have to murder him. He was the code of his enemies. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy.
And I'm not sure if she either didn't realize the seriousness of it, or what, was just trying to play the very sweet, innocent person. She was arrested in the morning. Her mother, Sherry, there with her. At one point during the arrest, she tells her daughter
I think her mother should be looked into as well. That haircut's evil. She definitely killed somebody. Auguster. Auguster. You showing off the beans?
As in, like, did she already write a message of what to do if she was arrested?
I should weigh him. He's gotta be like at least 12 pounds. He's a big boy.
It's gonna be the white vehicle back there.
I think her mom definitely had a hand in this, though. She seems like she would. In a minute, bud. I'm almost done.
So what I'll do is I'll take one hand out.
The code of his enemies. Yes.
Other officers will be in here shortly, right?
Diego's 18. Diego's 18 and you're over here fat shaming my cat? Bro. That's a chunk. I'm kidding. They're both. They can both be chunks.
Henry Tennant, by agreeing to plead guilty to second-degree murder and agreed to testify against both Mario and Shanna.
Heck yeah, testify against that evil woman, sir. She conned you and I'm so sorry.
Signed into Florida law that not all juries have to agree on a death sentence. If like 8 out of the 12 jurors agree
what?
the person to be put to death, that's enough. Mario and Shanna have both pleaded not guilty, denying any wrongdoing whatsoever, but both, I think, have an uphill
Damn,
battle
Florida just loves
against the
killing
snake as
people.
soon as it
Ew.
happened. The finger pointing and the whispering began against the pair of them. Now, as I said, it should be noted that Shanna comes from a very wealthy family. So
Jesus, he's terrible for that.
It appears that most, if not all, of this alleged conspiracy was done via Mario. Any links to Shanna are probably, I mean, we don't know.
No, because why would your boyfriend give a shit? Like, that's the thing. That's how you know she had a hand in it. Bullshit.
Now, Mario doesn't have a criminal record or anything.
So?
Called on him once because he was
Most women who murder don't have criminal records.
Felt intimidated, but that's about it. And it all depends on how much Henry Tennant knew. He has already agreed
Big
to testify,
boned, whatever you need to tell yourself.
With Mario about the murder, like he was, then that's Mario effed in the B, and he knows it. Maybe what he then do will turn on Shanna, lay it all at her feet. If Mario is facing the death penalty and Henry is going to testify him, it would surprise me if Mario would be guilty too. And what really won't help Shanna is that the indictment claims Shanna had been stewing over
I double
the idea of
checked.
having Jared
My boys
killed
get half
all
cup
the
of
way back
feed.
in 2015. Allegedly. A Florida
Where's he
Paris
finding those
staff
extra
member said
snacks?
That back then, 2015, in the middle, right smack dab in the middle of the acrimonious divorce, Shanna had been asked if
Filter
he knew
feeds
anyone
air.
who could, quote, shut him up, referring to Jared. By the way, this just happened to be when Shanna was getting a piercing on her undercarriage.
Ew.
Each baked 904 is no longer selling cookies.
TMI.
And they are to die for.
Thank you so much for watching.
How did that
I really
become
look forward
public
to
knowledge
everything
that
you've
she
watched
had
this
a
video.
piercing?
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much for the support.
What the fuck?
Means the world. Yeah, listen, this wraps up
Mike
this
does
video.
his
It has
research.
to be a
Holy
couple of
shit.
days, so please look forward to that.
No stone unturned.
Until then, please take care of each
Oh wait, hold on. I'll let him say that he loves
other
us.
and yourselves. Because I love you.
You're a little parasocial, buddy. Little parasocial. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think I'm gonna call it. I don't want to scroll and like use up time. But thank you so much for chilling. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night and a happy Sunday. I hope your Monday's good. And we should be streaming Tuesday. So hopefully see you then. But yeah, have a great rest of your night. Thanks for hanging out again. Happy Sunday. Yes. It's been a good day. Have a great rest of it.